That face! That face! I must have that face!
Would you like a drink?
It was hard to imagine that Michael Andrew Fox, the rambunctious, pint-sized kid from Canada, would grow up to be Michael J. Fox, big-time TV and movie star.
You know, my mother kind of says that they used to always say, you know, what's going to happen with Michael? What is he going to be when he grows up? And is he going to grow up both physically and emotionally? It was a big question.
Physically, Michael would reach only 5'4". Emotionally, his head was always up in the clouds.
I was really a flake when I was a kid. I mean, it was really... I wanted to be a writer, I wanted to be a hockey player, I wanted to be a rock star, I wanted to, until I finally stumbled into acting, which is like the most, kind of respectable I got.
Michael may have considered acting the most respectable, but no one else in his small town of Burnaby did.
In, Burnaby, that's flaky. You want to be, you want to be an actor, and not just mean, play Tiny Tim in the local production Christmas Carol at the Rec Center, but you really want to be an actor, like John Wayne be an actor. It's a weird thing to want to be.
As the son of a career military man and a homemaker, Michael and his 4 other siblings were expected to take a more normal 3-step path in life. Finish high school, find a job, and start a family. Michael had trouble with even step 1.
But high school was not a challenging time for me. It was not socially a lot of fun for me. I was really into acting and really into trying to find work and really into trying to get better as an actor.
Fox barely showed up for classes, but when it came to showing up for auditions, he was tireless. He began to get hired for minor TV and stage roles, but his prepubescent height and appearance was often an obstacle.
For a long time, he looked a lot younger than he was.
I was so little, you know what I mean, that I never looked like a teenager until I was like in my 20s,
I think there were a lot of roles that he may have gone out for where he just looked too boyish. Even as a young man, he looked very, very young. As a middle-aged man, he still looks quite young. So adult roles were hard to come by for him. But ultimately, of course, it served him in the greatest way imaginable.
Michael found a way to make his size work to his advantage. In 1976, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation was producing a new comedy about Leo, a suave bachelor, Jamie, his young nephew, and their misadventures living together on a houseboat.
The CBC was looking for a 10-year-old kid for a television show, and I was 15. But I looked 10, and they were looking for a bright 10-year-old, and I figured at 15 I was going to be the brightest 10-year-old they were going to meet.
I can't make it, Leo. I'm sick.
It's just butterflies. All the big pros, they get them.
Yeah, but I'm going to blow it, Leo. All those people looking at me.
Forget about it.
On the show, his character shied away from cameras and the spotlight. In real life, Michael craved it. But the CBC shelved the project. It would be 4 years before Leo and Me was even broadcast in Canada. Fox wasn't about to wait that long for a shot at stardom. He wasn't even going to wait to finish high school. At 17, he dropped out and tried to convince his father that he could make it as an actor in Hollywood. His father was skeptical, but packed up the family car and drove his son to Los Angeles.
Yeah, well, my father drove me to California. It was saying, okay, don't get me wrong, it wasn't just completely like, yeah, whatever you want. It was like, okay, I'll drive you to California, and I'll help you find an agent. The rest is up to you.
Fox quickly got an agent, but as a Canadian, he also needed a visa stating that he had a special ability, a skill an American actor didn't have that made him eminently more employable.
My special ability was that I looked younger than my age, and therefore the company could save a lot of money. They didn't have to hire a tutor, and they weren't bound to work only so many hours with a minor. You have a special ability, which is not your, like I said, not your wonderful thespic skills, but basically that you're like, have a pituitary gland problem or whatever it is.
Dang thing can't get it to stick.
Michael began to get bit parts, even scoring a recurring role in a TV series called Palmerstown, USA.
You and that Booker T, how come you never play with no white boys?
The drama about race relations in the 1930s was created by 2 industry heavyweights, prolific producer Norman Lear and Alex Haley, the author of Roots. Fox thought Palmerstown could turn into a long-term prospect. But his high hopes came crashing down. The critically acclaimed show was a ratings bust. It was quickly canceled in 1981. The same year Leo and Me was finally released in Canada. That too fizzled with little recognition. With no money, no auditions, and no family or friends nearby to offer support, Michael was struggling.
I was at that point really desperate financially and in every other way.
It was very risky. He did not look like your typical leading man.
For Fox, there was no giving up, no going back. He had left Canada determined to defy the odds and become a Hollywood success story. He was talented, he was confident. But could 5 foot 4 inches of boyish charm be enough to compete?